Logan Carter lived in the small town of Brookhaven, nestled in the quiet outskirts of Tennessee. At 38, he was a high school janitor, known for his quiet smile and his love for jazz music. Few people in town knew about his past, a brief career in the Marines cut short after a leg injury in Afghanistan. He returned home and faded into a humble life, avoiding attention, even as he carried the scars of war. The students at Brookhaven High often passed him without a second glance. He was just Mr. Carter, the man who swept the halls, fixed the broken lockers, and made sure the school was spotless before anyone arrived in the morning. Logan didn't mind. He preferred the quiet. After all, he had seen enough noise in his younger years. His only companion was his dog, Duke, a German shepherd trained for service. Duke had been with him since his return from duty. Every night, Logan would sit on his small porch with a cup of coffee while Duke lay at his feet, both of them listening to the crickets and the wind brushing against the pine trees. But one ordinary Wednesday morning in May would change everything. It was just after 8:15 a.m. when the first screams echoed through the school hallway. Logan was mopping near the cafeteria when the fire alarm blared. At first, he assumed it was a drill, but then he heard it, the sharp, terrifying sound of gunshots. His heart froze. A wave of fear swept over him, but instinct took over before he had time to think. He tossed the mop aside and ran toward the noise. Children were screaming, scattering. A few teachers tried to herd them into classrooms. The chaos was deafening. Logan's training kicked in. He shouted to a group of students, "Follow me! Stay low." He led them into a janitor's closet near the science lab and locked the door behind them. But he couldn't stop there. He moved quickly through the corridor, ducking behind lockers. He spotted a young boy, probably 10 or 11, curled up in the middle of the hallway, frozen in fear. Logan ran to him, grabbed him by the arm, and pulled him to safety. The gunman hadn't yet reached the west wing of the school, but he was getting closer. Logan reached the teacher's lounge and found Ms. Rodriguez, one of the younger teachers, frantically locking the door. Her hands were shaking and tears streamed down her face. "There are still kids in the gym," she whispered, barely able to speak. Without hesitation, Logan nodded. "I'll get them." He could hear footsteps now, slow and deliberate, heading in the direction of the gymnasium. Time was running out. He made his way down the back stairwell, taking a shortcut he knew well. His mind was calm, his breath steady. He remembered a similar sensation during his tour in Afghanistan: chaos outside, silence inside. He opened the side door to the gym. A group of students, maybe 20, were huddled behind the bleachers. Coach Miller had barricaded the main doors with benches, but looked helpless. His phone was in his hand, but there was no signal in that part of the school. Logan spoke quickly. "There's a back exit through the equipment room. Take the kids and go. Quietly." Coach Miller nodded and began leading the students. Logan stayed behind. He had one job left. As Logan returned to the hallway, he saw him, the shooter, a boy, a kid, no older than 17. Pale face, wild eyes. He was holding a semi-automatic weapon and muttering to himself, stepping over scattered backpacks and shattered glass. Logan didn't shout. He didn't run. He raised his hands slowly and stepped into view. "Hey," he said, voice calm. "You don't want to do this." The boy turned, startled. He pointed the gun at Logan. "Don't come closer," he shouted. "I'm not armed," Logan said. "I'm just here to talk." The boy's hands were shaking. His breathing was ragged. He was clearly terrified, but also ready to pull the trigger. Logan kept talking. "You don't have to be this person. It's not too late." "I have nothing left," the boy screamed. "No one cares." "I do," Logan said. "Right now, I care." A long silence followed. The hallway felt like a vacuum, everything suspended. Then, slowly, the boy lowered the gun. Seconds later, the police rushed in from the front entrance and took him into custody. No more shots were fired that day. The headlines read, "Janitor saves dozens during school shooting. Veteran turns hero in Tennessee high school. Local man prevents tragedy with courage and compassion." Logan tried to avoid the cameras and the praise. He gave only one statement. "I did what anyone should have done. I just hope that boy gets help and the kids heal." But the town wouldn't forget. The students he saved left notes in his locker. The school named the gymnasium after him. Even the boy, the shooter, sent a letter from juvenile detention months later. "I don't know why you risked your life to talk to me," it said, "but because you did, I got a second chance." Logan cried when he read it.